Oh, jeez. Oh, we're on stream. Cool.
All right.
You didn't tell us, Dan.
Stream on.
I'm back.
Welcome back. The stream's running.
Is this smooth jazz?
This smooth jazz is.
Oh, dude. Of course, we don't have a game made yet. Alright, just a heads up, guys. We are totally being broadcast on stream right now, so don't talk about anybody's dildo collections or whatnot. Yappa.
It's okay. Boosted friendship doesn't need any dildos after that fucking last game.
Holy crap, dude.
That was Batty Bargain Bid, by the way.
Oh, man.
That was fun. I had fun in that game.
There was fun to be had.
Alright.
Not supposed to talk about bad drinking?
Anyway, so on to these teams, because I believe we're being broadcast still. So we got 2K2S versus TDO coming up. And I don't know, I'm excited for this game. This was, to me, the game of the week, which is why we gave it a try-cast.
I fully agree. I mean, you have the dominant lanes versus the thinking team.
But I think TDO have secretly had really dominant lanes. Like, they've had some games where their lanes just, like, all three lose simultaneously. Like, they've had streaky players, but when they're on really hard. But that's really both of these teams. When they've been high, they've been really high, but when they've been low, it's been fairly low. Which is why this, I think, is a match that has so much potential. Also because this is a big playoff game. If TDO win, they are in a tie for second or first place at 5-2 alongside Waifu Superstar. If 2K2S win this game, they take a nice lead on that fourth seed race. Because they would be a game ahead of Bargain Bin, they would be a game ahead of Boosted Friendship, and they would be 2 games ahead of Boy Lover, who presumably it would be nice to be ahead of, because that could be a pretty competitive race for the last seed. So, looking at this lineup, it looks like no Zaku for 2K2S this week. Don't know if that's going to be a permanent change or it's just Zaku's unavailable, but this will be like the 9th bot lane they've busted out in 7 weeks.
I feel like it's 9 bot lanes, but only 3 people.
Pretty impressive how they do that.
It's pretty crazy. I mean, like, really, their bot lane, do you really feel that Scotch, Senpai, and Epic care about what their bot lane does? I mean, does it really make a difference in the whole?
I think they care way too much. I've had some discussions with these guys. I think last week's loss actually put a big dent in the mentality of 2K2S, and I don't think they realize just this is a team that's built for their bot lane to, at best, go even. And that's fine. You can win SBLs with a bot lane like that. Like, it's happened plenty of times. But we will see what happens.
And especially in a season where Siver's good.
Was Craig and Tizzy bot lane?
Yeah.
Was that a winning bot lane? Did they win a championship with that?
No.
They were
okay.
third place of 4 teams.
Okay, I apologize.
Alright, so into the draft, finally. So, first man coming out, Nautilus targeted at Purple Pickle Pie. He's had some pretty beast games. And then Zyra targeted at Thrifty Senpai. Look, guys, Somebody's banning Zyra again. Thrifty's played that like 3 times this season, hasn't he? Like, that's just unheard of.
Yeah, no respect.
Do you think now that Thrifty has busted out the Karthus, he's going to get a Karthus ban? I feel like that is so essential after what we saw last week. I feel like Zyra, he's been able to get ganked on, but Karthus just, like, almost single-handedly carried the game, but still lost to Boy Butter.
Yeah, that's true. This team, I think, is really maybe a little less tilted now that Boy Butter beat Boosted today, but they were very worried giving Boy Butter their first win last week. Which, now that we've seen the third game out of that lineup, the context is starting to look a little bit better. But looks like 2K2S going to round out their bands with Shyvana and Echo. Not surprising. Shyvana, obviously, we saw Thermidor just go off last week. And Echo, if you've seen any of that in somebody's match history, take that shit away. That's the best pick in the game right now, folks.
Yeah, definitely. And as a Echo being one of my mains, like, he's fucking dumb right now as tank Echo, and he does not take skill to play as a tank.
I actually really do not like this first pick coming out from 2K2S. I do not think Vi is that strong of a champion right now.
No, but it at least doesn't give anything away, and you know that Thermidor, if he's not playing the Shyvana, he likes to play these early gankers, these often gankers, these hardcore dive champions. And as long as they feel fine giving up the Sivir, maybe they feel like none of those other hardcore dive champions are as effective as the Vi. I feel like there has to be a plan.
I feel like there's just so many junglers that Epic has pulled out this season. Like I'm sure you can play Elise and like Kindred and Quinn.
But they do give up Sivir and Jax, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think that could actually be Jax jungle.
I think it is.
And just a heads up, there's going to be an Akali pick that is a placeholder for Trundle, apparently. So we will have a remake in a moment. But going back to those picks on TDO, go ahead, Wayne.
That may be a flex pick. Purple Pickle Pie has always been a Jax player.
That's true. It could be a flex pick. I know he does like the Jax. I'm just really surprised that it's picked so early. So a flex pick would make sense. But if Thermidor likes playing those Devourer junglers, I could kind of see him just saying like, alright, you took away Shyvana, I'm just going to do the same thing on Jax.
Yup.
We've got a Braum and a Trundle coming out of 2K2S. Trying to remember what happened the last time these two teams played. I want to say it was a pretty good game for Purple Pickle Pie, and he did play that Trundle versus Scotch and Hut. I'm actually going to look up who won that last match because I'm not positive.
Scotch was on Nasus.
TDO. Yep, TDO. Yes, that's right. TDO did win this game the last time they played, and Trundle got ahead early, and he never really looked back. So Scotch saying, "Hey, I'm not gonna let you play that, man." But Purple Pickle Pie, somebody with a really deep champion pool, and now knowing with a Braum and a Vi pick, he knows that's a Trundle top lane, so they have the opportunity to either, if they like the Jax and the Trundle matchup, and they're gonna pick Gragas, so looks like that will be Jax flexed up into the top lane.
We have seen Gragas tops
I am not 100%
before.
sure.
It could be either way.
Yeah, I guess. This is a wonky draft, man. Anyways, let's talk about Sivir. Wow, 30 used this first rotation to picks on Sivir, guys. Whoever saw that coming.
Oh, whoever does that against this, or like, when has this team ever played Sivir?
And I love...
I'm actually... Go on. I'm actually very surprised how this week I feel like Sivir's priority has gone down so much. I mean, besides from these two teams, our first two games did not have any Sivir contests, and I don't believe that there were that many Sivir contests last week.
There was a Sivir ban from my team last week.
I don't think she was played in the other 2 games.
No, I believe you're right. And yeah, I have noticed that as well, because there was like a 2-week stretch where she was pick banned in like 5 of the 6 games. But not surprised to still see 30 going for that pick, because, well, he likes Sivir. It's good. His teammates play the kind of champs that make good Sivir comps. And they've done it again. Like Leona, Gragas, Jax, those are all champions they're going to love going fast.
Yeah.
But with a Trundle and a Braum, that's going to be a hard team to dive into. So I think there's going to be interesting potential to make some plays here.
Ooh, and filing out their comp with a with an Ari. That's a mid laner that also likes to dive, so these should be some fun team fights if we just see TDO going hard every time. It'll be a lot of kiting from 2K2S, and really, if they can't keep them off Thrifty, like those fights are going to go downhill fast.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see how this plays out. Just looking at these two teams, the matchup in particular that matters most to me has got to be Thrifty Senpai versus Swerves. Thrifty does not have the counter pick this time, so he went with a pretty neutral pick like Orianna. But we have definitely seen Thrifty dumpster some lanes as Orianna in the past seasons, and even this season. And that is definitely just the skill level mismatch. Obviously, Thrifty's been really good this split. He's a better player than Swerves. And these are teams that traditionally, any team that's built around a mid laner that just kind of skirts by has almost always had really big struggles versus any team with Thrifty Senpai on it. Like, even in some of the teams where Alice's teams haven't been great, when he goes up against the team that's built like 30s where their mid lane's their weakest player, usually the Thrifty team will just blow that team out of the water in like 2/3 of the games. So that's the matchup I'm going to be watching, is how well can Swerves do on his favorite champion, Ari. Because if he can go even, or even just very slightly behind, I think this is going to be a really big win for TDO.
I
Yep,
feel
looks
like
like
my
it is the
favorite
Jax
matchup
jungle.
this season has really been watching Scotch in the top lane. He has not been the dominant top laner that I really expected him to be this season. And I
Yeah,
feel like Purple Pickle Pie has really been the star in a lot of his games.
yeah, I agree. That's a big matchup because we always knew Scotch was a player that doesn't like to win his lanes, but I have been surprised at just how much of a deficit he's gotten to early in some of these games against top laners that I just wouldn't have expected to give him so much trouble. And part of that is, I think, just the top laners in the SBL love to pressure early. Obviously, I'm an early pressure guy. Purple's an early pressure guy. Dan's an early pressure guy. So Scotch has had to endure a lot of that, but I expected him to go more even before he got off to his big team fights. So really curious to see what happens in that matchup, because that could be another matchup that's very stoppy. I mean, there is definitely a chance where Purple Pickle Pie goes huge and Thrifty Senpai go huge, and it's a battle of who can carry harder. So gonna watch Thermidor and Purple down to the wire here. They may trade at the last second to just try to juke out 2K2S. So we'll talk about the bot lanes for a bit. Braum Ezreal. Ezreal is certainly starting to make a comeback in the SBL.
I feel like Ezreal is just what all of these, like, just what everybody who doesn't play a ton of AD carry plays. These people like Albino Joe, like, he generally doesn't have like a huge champion pool, and I don't believe Boom Trooper does either. And I feel like Ezreal is just a very safe, easy carry to play.
Yeah, it gives you a lot of forgiving since you get that flash on such a low cooldown. And I think that's also why Sivir's picked a lot in this, besides like the buff to her AoE crits, but being able to just press R and still be useful has been important for a lot of these teams.
Alright, so we did ultimately get Thermidor playing Jungle Jax, Purple Pickle Pie playing top lane Gragas.
I really like that. I feel like that Gragas can make a lot of big plays that set Jax up too. really 1v1 in fights. I gotta go back to this Vi pick. I really, how does Vi gank any of those lanes?
Yeah, that's a big thing we haven't touched on, is that is going to be really rough on the Vi.
Like, how do you get in versus Leona Severe? How do you get in versus Ari? How do you get in versus Gragas? Gragas is probably the easiest gank out
Yeah.
of this team.
I think top lane is probably where he should be devoting his pressure. At least like
But I
devoting
mean,
it up there before 6.
Gragas, like, there's not a whole lot of kill pressure in Vi Trundle. Like, what are they gonna do?
Having CC underneath Trundle's frozen field is pretty big because his attack speed will be able to shred through the purple or through purple depending on how he builds. And then if he does go tanky, then like the Trundle ult to have the full channel to steal the resist should be able to tear through him as well.
I mean, in my mind, if I'm seeing Gragas top, or if Trundle is at level 6 and has ult, Gragas has ult too. He's gonna barrel both of those people away, or one of them, and then the other
That's
one
fair.
can't do anything.
Well, we will see, because Epic Yandere has been a guy who always finds the right ganks at the right times, even playing weird champions where you wouldn't expect a lot of gank pressure sometimes. So I am curious to see what he can do with a champion like Vi. Because yeah, it would be really disappointing if they first picked this champion and weren't able to make something with it. And he's gonna be going uphill to do that.
Thermidor's played Vi a few times, hasn't he? I know he played it at least against Boosted Friendship, but it might have also been a pick to take it away from Thermidor.
You guys want to hear something embarrassing?
What?
I wasn't paying that much attention at first, and when they picked Vi, I was like, yeah, Thermidor's picking Vi. Okay, that makes sense. I started talking about why Vi was a good pick, and halfway through it, I was like, that's not Thermidor that picked Vi. What the fuck? But I didn't want to own up to it right there on the spot, so I just kept like trying to justify it, but in my head, I was like, that was dumb. So that's how you cast, folks. You just don't own up to it later.
I think somebody's phone's ringing. Sounds like a Google phone.
Hi, Mom. So, Wang, the important
Sorry,
question.
that was me. I'm the worst.
Are we going to get our first good game of the night?
I thought that, yes, yeah.
Were you about to call the last game a good game because you were winning in it?
No. I actually thought that Boy Butter versus in their first game
That was a
versus
fucking clown fiesta, dude.
okay, for the first like 15 or 20 minutes that looked like it was going to be a close game. And then like it just went full clown fiesta for the end. I really
You get a free pass on like 3 to 5 minutes of the clown fiesta, but after that it's just exponentially worse. And that was like 20 minutes of straight clowning.
I feel like those two teams probably may have bottom half of the league shot callers.
All right, but we are in, so no exciting starting items, just like every game of League of Legends.
I mean, everybody took the biscuit.
These are two teams that like to level 1, though. We've seen a good amount of level 1s out of both of these teams. But I don't think that's going to happen this game because both these teams are fanning out for zone defense.
"30 seconds until minions spawn."
What do you guys think we're going to see first, Blood?
I think First Blood is going to be in the mid lane.
I'll say
I
top.
think it's going to be Thrifty killing the Ari. Although that is Orianna versus Ari is generally a counter pick matchup for Orianna, or Ari wins that matchup.
Minions have spawned.
I think that we'll end up having a level 3 jungle fight up to top lane. With both these junglers starting on bot side, their paths will just lead up there.
Do you guys think there's a chance that Purple Pickle Pie was watching the last game and his just like alpha male mentality felt threatened by how much AP Kragan built? So we're gonna see like a death cap into the AP static shiv like Gragas. Is it okay to root
We
for
can
that?
only hope.
I'm
can
not
only
rooting
hope.
for that.
I hope that happens.
That'd be
I'm
incredible. Just
actually
bringing
hoping for,
back
like-
the pre-rework Gragas, like
Like, who
I've
builds
seen
those
some
boring
AP
tank
Gragas
items?
do pretty good.
But I
There
really
was
like the
actually a
way-
really.
go ahead.
You go on. You go on.
Oh.
There was actually a really good thing on a Freak had an interesting rant last night about how not everybody is playing tank tops, and there's actually a lot of teams playing carry tops.
Yeah, if you watch the LCK, it's not 100% tanks.
And if you watch the LCS, I mean, look at like CLG. They're in the finals. They're playing like Yasuo Jax, Gangplank.
What?
They haven't played those recently? Oh, you won.
And yep, it's gonna be one of those games, folks. If you are hoping for TDO to win this game, start praying a little bit, because 50 Senpai is about to go off. And that's a lot of EXP he just lost. I'm gonna make a bold prediction and say that 2K2S are gonna win this game. Just right off that first blood, I think 2K2S are gonna win this game.
That doesn't matter. Ripty Senpai has dominated Dwarf. Oh god.
And Thermidor in a lot of danger. He failed the flash!
Oh, no.
That's a second kill. My prediction looks so smart right now. This is rough for TDO. What was Thermidor doing?
He
you're-
stole the blue,
I
I
don't-
think.
I think when
I mean, like, his mid laner was dead, and he decided to
no,
play
his
the
mid
blue.
laner was there. His mid laner was there.
Was he back?
Oriana had backed. Yeah, he was there, just not there enough. Like he must have saw Oriana bead or felt that he bead.
That's one of those worry plays, like, oh my god, we just gave up first blood to Thrifty Senpai. We have to make a play and invade their blue right now. We can get something back for it. And then, like, you just died. You asked where that Vi was gonna get kills? The answer was obviously her own jungle.
1v1 Vi kills against Jax. I'm sorry I couldn't predict that one.
You just need to be more creative with your predictions.
I mean, you called the first blood, so you got that going for you.
Look at that, Zorbs lands the charm and he still loses the trade.
And
That's
he's down
brutal.
2 levels.
5-3, oh my god, this is not good. I've been on the receiving ends of games like this. This is no good for anyone, except for Thrifty Senpai. Meanwhile, 30 gonna not do shit in that bot lane. Man, and Braum Ezreal, that tilts me, dude. To see that lane, like, you can't do anything to that lane besides just, like, casually go up on CS. And just look at the way Thrifty Senpai trades. He just looks so confident walking towards Swerves. Like, as soon as he gets that Q, he's like, alright, I'm about to get my Thunder Lords. You're gonna almost die under your tower. You should probably base Sun. And this is how some of the TDO dad games have gone. Just get really far behind early, and when they do, they don't seem to be a team that's good at coming back. And, oh, Epic Yandere
Oh, wow.
forces the flash out of Zwerg. That was actually a flash Q that forced the flash. So a really good trade of flashes there, in my opinion, because now Thrifty
Yeah.
Senpai, he basically has that lane 5 minutes.
I actually was doing a little bit of research right now, and at about 15 minutes, Worms was only down 10 CS to Thrifty Senpai. 15 CS to Thrifty Senpai during their last encounter.
Well, 30 going
Oh.
for the roam play, gets a nice stun on a Thrifty Senpai who flashed under his tower. A nice 2-man shockwave is going to delay that. And actually, 30 takes a lot of damage on the tail end.
Thermidor's Counter-Strike went off before he landed on top of Thrifty. If that had landed, they would have been pretty much guaranteed that kill there.
That is really a big misplay because I believe the TDO is tilted right now. Like, that was their play. That was their way back into this game entirely, and they let it slip with a play like just missing a counter strike. They're gonna have to really keep their composure here because they're 6.5 minutes in. They can't afford the tilt yet.
All right, moment of truth. What is purple going to buy?
All right, does he have the gold? He has 1,400 gold. He can buy a needlessly large rod.
Sheen?
Sheen.
Sheen? Yes!
Oh, he's going for an Iceborne Gauntlet,
Iceborne
man.
Sunfire Cape!
What a bold. Someone in Twitch chat was like, I think he's going to go Iceborne Gauntlet Sunfire Cape. And I wanted to be like, what a fucking bold prediction, man. Guys, let me tell you about top lane, for those of you that haven't paid attention. Iceborne Gauntlet and Sunfire Cape are both really cheap and really good items. If you were to wear Sunfire Cape, now does damage and a half to creeps, so you just like auto push every lane you're in, and you get a decent amount of tanky stats for free. And like those are the two items that have made the tank meta top, was that you can build those 85% of the time as your two core items, and you're super tanky. And that's it. No one kills you. It's all
Everybody
four
builds
items.
them.
The
Like,
20%
it's what
CDR
made-
is what makes Iceborne Gauntlet so strong right now. It basically like increases their DPS by 20% for all the
Yes.
tanks because of how good their base damage is.
Anyone out there that didn't like the Fiora GP meta is the problem with League of Legends. I'm gonna say that. Oh man, Thermidor takes the second blue. He's gonna power farm his way back into this game, and Zwerves is being left out to dry.
Who is
This
holding
is-
his own? He's only down 10 CS right now after just that brutal levels 1 through 4.
Zwergs actually should have a decent amount of
That
mana
game got
with
him a
the-
lot of EXP back. Dude, Gold League is essentially only these kills, but I mean that's still a sizable lead this early in the game.
I feel like if TDO can just make it out of this laning phase, then they will. Oh,
A nice ult under the tower. Scotch not gonna stop to ult. He takes 4 towers. No,
Oh.
he takes 3 towers, but he's turning out a real big one. He flashes and misses the auto. But
Oh, he gets
still
it.
gets the kill. He trades kills. Oh, that's so big.
Oh, if he had died there for nothing, that would have been the worst feeling in the world.
But instead, he trades kills, and now he has the wave pushing back at him. Every top laner's wet dream.
Oh, yeah.
This is a lot better than what happened last week to Scotchnot, where every time he got the kills, the wave was pushing towards the tower, and he would go 1-for-1, and I believe he lost like a substantial amount of gold last week because of bad lane management.
Yeah, there were points where he needed to like pull the jungler in to help him bounce a wave. Like,
Yeah, let me tell you, like even if you go 1-for-0, like having that wave like that just tilts you. It's just not worth the gold.
if you go 1-for-0, it usually is.
Do you guys just
Not-
get this spectator data error?
Oh, did you just get the spectator bug?
I did.
Riot broke spectates for a bunch of ISPs recently. You may be one of them. See if you can restart the game.
Okay, I just won't talk until then.
You might not be able to, in which case we're about to go down to a duo cast, but we'll hope for the best here. Yeah, gold lead staying constant, so looks like TDO maybe not completely tilting yet, which is good.
I think they're doing it right. I mean, they're playing safe. I mean, even Zwerves is standing back, missing quite a bit of CS in lane, just to make sure that Thrifty isn't calling in a jungler to help him.
He really hasn't lost much CS either. Like, that CS gap hasn't grown at all in the past 4 or 5 minutes. Ever since that gank, Thrifty's been playing... I don't know if Thrifty's just playing more intelligently, or if it's just been some good plays from Swerves. Camera hasn't been showing a lot of mid.
I do feel like TDO has really shown their superior shot calling this season, and has really transitioned that into their wins.
Oh yeah,
I
both these
I
teams,
feel like these
think
guys
are-
can get them.
I think both these teams have actually had fairly good shot calling. And they both looked like the teams are playing the styles of their shot callers. Which is good. You want, like, when you're the shot caller, you want teammates that are going to play the game you see, not trying to play their own game. Because it can be really hard to adapt to playing a different style when you're the shot caller. But we've seen these 30s. Oh, a nice give under tower. Zwerv's just not respecting the ball.
I'm back.
Welcome back. And that is going to put a lot of damage down on this tower. Now Trundle teleporting in. They're looking for a dive in the bot lane. 30 is fairly deep here. Purple Pickle Pie cannot match this. Ghost exhausted, and now the two have joined. Ghost is gonna give the kill for Boom Trooper. Scott trying to dive on a 30 and then jump in on Assault and Battery. 30 getting chunked on this tower. Now Boom Trooper jumps in. Frisky Oni-chan going to dive, but a kill to Epic Yandere. And this is going to be a tower in addition to the additional kill. And they probably won't lose top tower. It's gonna be close.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
But that is going to really expedite this gap in favor of 2K2S, since they are not going to lose top tower off of this.
Not even close. Purple Pickle Pie is really gonna get any damage down on
Oh,
that.
he's not even pressuring that top tower. Is this guy's first game in top lane? Oh, he has to spend. That's so big. That was really, really well timed by 2K2S. I wasn't paying enough attention there, but Scotch must have known that if he TP'd, that Purple would probably have to back afterwards. This is one of the best places you can be in as a top laner. When you know that you can TP and you won't give up tower if they push, and also that if they push, you're going to be able to counter push, or be in a situation where they're sitting on a lot of gold and you can win the one-on-one. Like, that was just a win-win for Scotch. Really smart play from the best teleporter in the league. And helping 2K2S grow their advantage, because Ezreal and Braum are two of the best champs you can have roaming after they take their tower. Ezreal's going to put that poke down on mid, who is already really behind. Braum's going to put that poke down. And it's really hard to counter poke out of Braum. So I hope we see bot wave prepped and then some nice sieging going out of this mid lane.
Looks like Epic Yandere is going in even if the camera's not showing it.
Oh,
that was
a
a
goal
big
for the
dodge.
sombrero.
That's not a sombrero.
Sorry, that's just a
Sombrero is when
It's on himself,
When-
yeah. Or on a champion. But if somebody's gonna drop a sombrero, man, he don't give a fuck. But regardless, the body's in the neighborhood. Dwarves did loot is a Spirit Rush. And we're gonna see 2K2S go for the first dragon of the game here. It looks like TDO wants to contest this. Be ready for On the Hunt. Gragas could join this fight, and Scotchnock cannot. This is not a good fight for 2K2S. And Thermidor going to secure this fight. Frisky Oni-chan taking
Gragas
a
isn't
lot
even coming
of
down.
damage.
There were no good wards in the area for Gragas to TP to. I think he was looking for it, but his team didn't give him anything.
Yeah, that's a really disappointing setup out of 2K2S, because if they could have given Purple even a half-decent ward there, they had potential for such a big team fight.
Yeah, they easily could have gotten 2 or 3 out of that
But
with a good
regardless,
TP
they
ward.
do secure the dragon. That was a bad shot call for 2K2S. They should have known, like, even though Purple TP, they should have known they were at TP disadvantage, and they didn't really have any reason to start that. And they're going to lose mid tower on the tail end of this. TDO have done a really good job of making the right plays to get back into this game.
That actually gives TDO gold parity again.
Yeah, dead even after that nice early game on the 2K2S.
Which should be a pretty scary thing for them, considering last week they were solidly in the lead and then threw all of it away against Boy Butter.
No, they were behind early versus Boy Butter.
They
then
had
they
the
ca-
couple ganks top lane against Dan. They got him super tilted. and
Thermidor
they,
is real deep. I don't think you're walking on this one, my friends. Epic Yandere picking up his 3rd kill of the match. And they never got anything off of those ganks on, or they got kills, but they were losing
Yeah,
other
they got
parts of the map.
Yeah.
I remember
They got
Boy
5
Butter had
kills
a
while Splitter.
huge lead, and then they like started to throw, and then they just stopped throwing and won the game instead. But I do
I
think
feel like that's
2K2S can be really happy with this game being slowed down because they have a lot of champs that want to scale. And a fight breaking out in this top lane, the Shockwave gonna hit Purple Pickle by, but the Solar Flare gonna hit 30 Senpai. A kill for Trundle. Now 30 Senpai flashes up, 30 flashes for the kill, and a tank versus support fight going on. But multiple members of TDO are here to match. Meanwhile, the 2 members of 2K2S are gonna try to push 2-on-1 versus Jax in the bot lane. And that's going to be a big potential for outplay in this bot lane. If they can take that tower... Actually, Epic Yandere is going to be enough to deter this tower push. And they're not going to really get any damage on this tower bot either.
This might just be because that bot lane is very scared.
Yeah, I think it is. They do know that Purple Pickle Pie has a teleport, so there's a lot of ways he can get in on a play here. By the way, Kyle, there is just someone in the Twitch chat who would like you to know that he doesn't tilt. So don't ever accuse him of that ever again.
I don't think Slider Dan is ever fit.
No, I just meant that they were just like bombing on him. I'll say that I tilt top when you just get ganked like 12 times,
dude,
but you can still come back
like
and win.
Motherfucker. It's really cute when you tilt.
Yeah, dude.
Like when I beat you last season. Garbage? It is. I was really disappointed. I expected your Poppy to be good. I also expected 30 not to be getting flanked on. He's being collabed 1 versus 5 here. Oh, he is more fucked than a whore on prom night. No, actually, he might be able to get an execute. That's really disappointing. Oh, Boom Trooper with the big miss on the Q. And 30 has got to go real deep. Boom Trooper flashes, but he secures the kill. But Ghost actually starts pushing. He's going to spell shield the Assaulting Battery. But he is walking away. He only has level 1 boots, and he's being chased by some fast dudes. He's going to flash really late. I don't know why, because he is going to get tower dope. And actually, Thermidor coming in. But the nice VLC cone going to stop that. Now Purple Pickle Pie is pushing in the bot lane. And Zorb going for the outplay on Thrifty Senpai. And he's putting down a lot of damage, going to outplay the Senpai.
1v1.
This game is heating up really fast. We're suddenly starting to see like tower trades, and when somebody fights on one side of the map, somebody knows to engage on another side, and oh man, here comes Scotchnaut. They're 2v1ing Purple Pickle Pie. He does not have fire to go. The only going to knock away Boom Trooper. Scotchnaut going to flash, secures the kill. Scotch now at 3-1.
Scotch is getting fairly big. Got Vi big on 2K2S.
Yeah, all the kills for
We're
TDO
really
are right on 30. Not where you want them.
3-2 Leona.
I don't know. If I know 30, I think that's exactly where he wants to be.
I mean, I guess you can get the Aegis early and stop Thrifty Senpai a little bit more.
Thrifty Senpai has kind of been stopped. I'm really shocked that he hasn't really done anything in the past 15 minutes.
I mean, like, Orianna just as a champion, you really need your team to group and push fights. Like, you're not going to be able to 1v1 Ari forever, as we saw with the Thrifty Senpai Swerves fight.
Alright, so we do have Dragon alive. Purple Pickle Pie currently has a teleport. Scotch does not. So 2K2S are in the driver's seat here. Probably going to trade top tower for Dragon unless TDO wants to fight. And Zwerp going in. Zwerp gets a nice time out of Ari and a kill for Thermidor. Shockwave is going in. Now a 4-man solar flare. Purple Pickle Pie is in this fight. Oh, they are being destroyed. Purple on this flank. 2 down. Ghost putting down tons of autos. 3rd kill for TDO. And they're going to secure this Dragon. Just a Braum and a Trundle alive. They are not going to be able to defend much.
That catch was so good.
That was just... I didn't catch what Thrifty was doing. Was he just walking up to ward?
Yeah, I think he was placing a ward while he was walking over to Dragon. And they were all just waiting in that bush for him.
You gotta respect Fog of War, man. Worked with those 2 big outplays in a row, and that's really helped open this game up. Gold's still close to even, but I feel like both these teams are in an okay place right now.
Just an okay place.
I mean, no one's in a good place. So Purple with a nice take at top tower. 2K2S going to respond by getting the easy take on this mid tower.
Red team's turret has been
And now all of the outer towers have fallen. The map finally gets interesting. And, no. Swerves actually takes a huge amount of poke, and there's a huge shockwave, blows up, Swerves. 30 is lucky that that E misses. Now, Swerves actually, sorry, Epic Ready knocked on the tower, he gets killed by Ghost. And this is no longer a good fight for 2K2S. Scotch putting down some damage as this chase happens. And Scotch potentially going to die. 30 goes very deep though. TDO wants to chase this. They're looking for anything, and now there is finally an on the hunt. 30 flashes, Thermidor flashes, and Boom Trooper gets gibbed. Now, first the only chance going down to it is just a low health Orianna and Braum alive. And, they don't have creep waves that close. They're not going to be able to take a whole lot off of this. TDO looks like
Yeah,
they
the
don't
best
even
thing-
want to stay and try to push mid. They're going to just rotate towards top, take them boob up. And that's kind of rough. It is not easy to get 3 kills for nothing and not take a single objective off of it.
Well, it does put them 2K farther into the lead in a game that was pretty close. Not very much at this point, but give them a tower or so. I feel like you could really see in that fight how many kills Severe does not have. He was very unable to deal with any damage during that fight.
Yeah, he is not super gigantic. He only has 164 CS in 24 minutes. That is pretty low. He doesn't have a second core item completed yet. That's, fairly late. Generally a low farm game. There's been a lot of grouping and fighting. As we see all 10 members in this mid lane again. Gotch does have his TP available. It looks like they're going to maybe try to get a fight going on at Purple here. Purple is so tanky. Now there's an on the hunt on a TDO. 30 going to get epic down there. There he's split from his team. The barrel knocking everyone apart. Quickly step by goes down. This is looking good for TDO. Swerve jumping inward. A little bit of a slow coming out of 2K2S. Scotch is going to flash for a kill and not get it. That is 2 down. And TDO chasing now. Purple flashes under the tower. He is going so heavy. He gets exhausted. But 30 is here to join the party. Everyone from TDO is there to join the party. And everyone from TDO is going to get out. Ezreal and Vi, the only ones alive, and they have no health.
blue team's turret has been destroyed.
And an easy tier 2 mid for TDO, who are starting to just look so much more confident in these fights.
I mean, I feel like that fight was really all about the team that picked the fight. I really felt like TDO just knew what they wanted to do in that fight, and 2K2S was just very lost. Thrifty Senpai didn't even get an ult off in that fight.
Yeah, Thrifty just really not having a good game, which you wouldn't have expected to say at the 4-minute mark. He just kind of looks like, it's kind of like what we saw out of 30 in some games when he was playing AD carry. Thrifty looks like he is trying too hard to shot call right now. Only they're not actually shot calling anything very creative. to go along with him playing bad individually. I am really curious to see what the comms sound like for 2K2S right now, because it just does not look like really anything intelligent's going on.
I feel like from talking with 2K2S during the week, they just feel very, very defeated. Very
Yeah, it's
defeated
really
this
surprising
season when there
because-
was so much hype.
I know, and I feel like they played so good some of the time, but Thermidor going in a charm onto and a kill onto Scott did not hesitate. Give a 3-man solo play, but a huge shot on a 50 cent fight, but that is not enough to salvage this fight. Double kill onto Purple, just as real and Vi alive. And please, oh man, this is gonna be a big Baron. Vi is alive, but she doesn't know that this is happening. This is a free Baron Nasher.
I mean, did they walk through the... Nope, that ward is... Yeah.
Yeah, I'm surprised Purple didn't try to go for anything. I think you have to go for an outplay dance. Like, you're the Smites. But now 8K gold lead for a team that can just march down the mid lane and dive towers at will.
I mean, I feel like this is part of the Vi pick right there. Vi really isn't innately tanky. She doesn't have a lot. She really has to build tanky items, and Epic really hasn't done much of that. He's got a Warriors and a Sterix Gauge, and a Glacial Shroud.
And do you know what that's gonna do to him? It's gonna kill him. It's too
gonna melt.
tanky. 50 cent by the solar player gonna whiff on the dead body. And Scott's just slowly, methodically getting a tower over there. This is
This
is the mark of the 30 team. They're ahead and they don't start throwing very often.
Yeah, this is starting to look like a snowball.
Yeah, they definitely know how to avalanche. And oh man, Frisky Oni said he's being dove under his tower. He's dead. That's an inhibitor tower down. That's an inhibitor down.
Oh, they're probably going for the win here.
Yeah, they are posturing like they want to. Epic on there is up, but they have 15 on Scotch, 25 on Frisky. And Thermidor are going to be zone patrol while Ghost does the damage to these towers. He's got one down. A lot of damage going on the second one. This might be a little deep though. They've lost a lot of time. A huge spell shield. That spell shield might have saved the game, at least for now, for 2K2S, because Ghost is gonna walk into this tower. Oh, he jukes, he flashes out. Oh my fucking sake, dude. And now Boom Trooper getting a kill on the tail end of this. 2K2S gonna get some feel-good kills here. But TDO are gonna just group back up and finish what they started. There's an assault, there's a Betty. Look at all that damage Purple Pickle Pie's not taking. Thanks, top
Just walk
boys.
right over that wall.
Fun and exciting gameplay.
He has the trifecta of top lane items.
Iceborne, Sunfire, Spirit Visage. I think Kikis, the top laner for G2, he plays for G2, right? Is he UOL?
Yes.
Yeah,
Who's
he plays
G2?
for G2.
Yeah, no, he's
Okay,
G2.
Kikis, the top laner for G2. You may remember him for the Clown Fiesta that started all Clown Fiestas on Unicorns of Love. He had an interview with the Score, like, this weekend. And the quote was, "The tank top meta is really good for me, but I don't think it's good for the game." When the people who excel in your meta are saying, like, yeah, this is really toxic and bad for everyone that plays League of Legends, that's how you know there's something wrong.
Everyone is comparing this tank meta to the Atma's Warmogs meta. You remember that way back,
Yeah,
I believe, season 2?
Yeah,
I mean,
season 2.
Atma's Warmogs, I think it was
Trinity Force on a
Force
lot of
of
the
Nature.
champs.
Force of Nature, I think was the third item.
It was really whatever you wanted, as long as it had health on it.
Yeah. So, assuming that TDO wins this game, this makes the bottom of the standings look very, very exciting.
Yeah, just a lot of questions that have just come up in the past 2 weeks. Batty Bargain bin starting to look pretty shaky. Obviously, we weren't super big fans of their chances on Batty Insight that we did after week 5. Boy Butter is now winning. Boost that lost the game when they really needed to not do so. 2K2S now looking like they're going to do the same 2 weeks in a row. And this will have a huge game between TDO and Waifu Superstar next week for sole possession of first place. And
I'm
this
just
looking
waiting
like
for
30 going pretty deep. He's going to try to disengage this next week. A Ghost is going to go down barely, but 30 putting down a lot of damage. Epic God Dairy almost gets sniped. Meanwhile, in the mid lane, 30 and Swerve secure this tower. 30 probably going to pay for it with his life, but that is the base even more correct, and we get a pause.
And the pause.
I don't think that affected that fight just based on what I saw and what I currently see on my minimap. But even though they lost that fight, I think that was an okay fight. That was actually a pretty good fight for TDO because they got a second inhibitor turret. So now, no matter what happens, they can group and have 2 open inhibitors to take on a team that only has 1 Nexus turret remaining. And there's no Baron that they can lose. There's really nothing in position for 2K2S to push something down while Ghost and 30 are dead. All they're going to be able to really do is reset the lanes and maybe go get a red buff. So I think that was a fine place for TDO to lose a fight like that. But going back to a bigger SBL-wide picture here, like I was saying, this means that TDO and Waifu Superstar play for sole possession of first place next week. And if TDO win this, and both teams can also feel really, really secure that they're going to be going to the playoffs and really have a high chance of getting a top 2 seed. Like, the ball is in their court, which is exactly where you want to be after week 7. I know that's where I want to be.
And
Week 8 is...
if TDO wins this, that will leave 3 teams at 3 and 4, and then Boy Butter at 2 and 5. Which was
so
incredibly
exciting.
close. It could be any of those teams as the 4th seed.
Just 2 weeks ago, we were hyping up how Boy Butter was going to go 0-10. And they bench King, they start winning, and suddenly they're like legitimately in the playoff race. And not only that, but with multiple teams they can try to chase down.
They play, I'm looking at the schedule right now. Boy Butter plays Batty Bargain Bin next week, which I think is their best chance of scoring a win in the next couple of weeks.
That's so huge. Yeah, the loser of that game is most likely out of the playoff hunts. Like, there's an outside chance. There's a lot of crazy shit that can happen, but the loser of that game is probably out of the playoffs. And this is really looking like it's going to be a season where we play, not only do we play tiebreakers, but potentially a meaningful tiebreaker game. Hey, man, that gets me hyped. To imagine that we can maybe have a playoff tiebreaker game, like winners in, losers out.
I know winners tiebreaker, since it's King of the Hill, is pretty much just playing 5th place in the playoffs, right?
Well, they would play a best of 1 for 5th place.
Oh, okay.
So I guess to
that's
give everyone a rundown of how the situation goes while we have a moment here. If we only have 1 tiebreaker game that needs to be played, it'll happen week 10 as game 4 of that week. It'll be a best of 1 with random sides, coin flips, basically. And the winner gets the high seed, the loser gets the low seed. Unless the teams involved in the tiebreaker, if one team 2-0'd the other team, then they automatically get the seed advantage. But otherwise, we'd play a best of 1 tiebreaker game. If there's a 2-way tie, that they split the series 1-1. If there are multiple tiebreaker games to be played, then we push the playoffs back a week, and we essentially hold week 11, where we schedule out all of our tiebreaker games. And in the event of a 3-way tie, we have to play a lot of League of Legends. So, basically, we end up holding a double elimination bracket to determine placing, and we do some pretty weird shit to determine who's going to get seeding within that double elim bracket, and we kind of hope that that doesn't happen.
It just all the teams playing against each other, and you just hope they don't all go 1-1.
No, we would actually have like 2 teams play, and then like 1 team would get a bye, but it would be a double elimination bracket, so you'd have to lose 2, but the team with that bye would have like a really slight advantage. Man, wouldn't it be funny if like Purple's internet just died and TDO DC'd and lost this game?
Oh my god, that
Do they
would
close,
be
do you think they can
tilting.
close this out 4v5? Is there a chance?
It would be difficult. I
I
think it would be possible. It'd be real hard.
I think it would be
It would be
it
possible.
would be
I
very
would,
hard.
but I don't think they would do it. I think 2K2S would come back, but it would be fun to watch.
Can they have their sub log on to Purple's account? Is that allowed?
That reminds me of one time in season 4. I'm Just Dan got a 2-week suspension, so he had to actually play a playoff series on Sword and Mesa's account. Ah, good times.
I
Oh yeah,
believe
because you guys were
he-
hyping that up trying to draw Poppy, man.
I'll never forget. I'm Just Dan logs into Sword and Mesa's account. We're all on TeamSpeak. He does it, guys. He has 5 different rune pages for Poppy. And we were all like, "What?" And he listed them off. There was like Poppy support. We were joking about how we should add a Poppy 80 carry page on there for him.
Oh, I love it. I can respect someone who has that much love for pre-work Poppy. Pre-rework Poppy, the terror of late game.
That was anti-fun. You remember that time that you played it in the jungle? And
I
like,
did. I won that game.
Yeah, you went like 15-4 or
Yeah,
something.
no,
stupid.
because yeah, it was in like playoffs or something, and then my team was
Yep.
behind, and I'm like, wait, guys, it's fine. I'm 2-0 right now. Just give it a little time, and we got this. And then the Poppy.
That was Swift as shit in. Was that Swift as shit? It must have been.
That was Switch as shit. Yeah, that was 2 seasons ago.
Yeah, was that versus? Who could that have been versus?
I have no idea.
You only played. It was bracket of death, right? You only played one best of 5 because. Were you? Maybe you weren't the top seed. I don't think you guys got the top seed.
I think we were. It wasn't a bracket of death. It was a normal bracket.
I
Okay.
think
I
there was
thought-
at least one season we didn't do bracket of death.
I
It was
know-
that one. Like we played the
I don't think
semifinal
we
games
did
too.
it. Okay. I was gonna say I don't think we did a bracket of death in season. Where I know we didn't do it in season 4 either. So season 4 and 5, I guess, were the ones where we didn't. Yeah, I think you're right. That makes sense then.
Yeah, I was
you
gonna
guys were
I was
just-
gonna play the Poppy top lane, and then they got like a fucking incredible counter pick. I'm like, Purple, switch with me. It'll be okay.
Yeah, you guys were up against Alice's 4th seed team, and like you guys were just way better than them that split.
Yeah, that was
Yeah, it was a
when
progress
Aros
because-
was like in his prime. I
When
guess
Aros
that
was
was his
playing
only
League of
season.
Legends.
So
That was before he got tilted by Thrifty stopping him in lane and quit to pursue his CS:GO career.
I don't blame him. That kid was good at CS:GO.
Rip
I'm still waiting
all
to
of the
see
mid
him.
laners that we've lost.
Dude, there's an alternate dimension where the starting mid laners in this league are Thrifty Senpai, My Wang, Thor Odinson, Blabuer, Sebestus one, and Aros.
I don't know if I'd want to play that season.
What, you scared to go up against some good mid laners, Wang?
I think I'd be cheeseburger. But what if we had like magical veggie in there too?
Oh, I forgot
Oh,
about
fuck,
Veggie.
Yeah, I forgot about him too.
Oh man,
Yeah,
that
it
was
was-
like
From the legendary
season
double
3.
diamond team.
Season 3, yeah, the double diamond, everyone else's
Oh my
trash
God.
team.
Yep. Yeah, I remember because Chris was my roommate at the time, and he was
I
playing
think-
ADC for that team. Oh
Yeah,
my god.
him and Albino Joe were their bot lane,
Yep.
and I think Twice was their top lane.
Yeah.
And
But if I
they-
remember right, those other lanes weren't that far below like other lanes
No.
in the league.
they always knew how to go close enough.
Yeah.
That was my first SBL season, I think, and it was I was on the bench for Dan, so I had to play on the off weeks when Dan wasn't around, and I was like trash back then. Not that it's any better now, but the competition's easier.
You built up so much hype, dude. There was that one decent season you had on Swift as shit. We're all like, Kyle's gotten good at the game, and then
I
you
know,
were like,
right?
nah, JK.
I mean, I
I
did-
thought he was.
I was solid last season.
Yeah, you were okay. We're
Whatever
good.
season I drafted the devout milk thrifty senpai.
Oh, that was 3 seasons ago.
Yeah, this season
purple
4.
pickle pie.
Dude, I want to give props to Swift as shit. Every single player on that team has looked worse since like afterwards. Like
Savage.
literally every single.
Give us the
player.
rundown.
Okay, so
All
there's
right,
all
so
on that team.
we had Purple Pickle Pie from the jungle, who's now in top lane.
he's the closest, but I would say the jungle was his best season.
Yeah, he was looking a lot better. Like he didn't have really off weeks.
No,
I was top lane, and I am
definitely your
definitely
best
doing worse
season.
this season than I did in that one. Dubdrum was playing support,
I guess
and then
Drum you can maybe make a case for has improved, or at least stayed at the same level.
his last season was very strong, I think.
He's very strong this season as well, but he
Yeah.
switched roles. So I'll give Drum credit. I guess he was the best player on Split the Shit now. We can
Then
see
we
that
had K King as ADC and Aros in mid.
King is ADC. We thought King was okay at League of Legends back then.
Was okay in League of Legends. He was like one of the best ADCs in the league.
No, I'm gonna go full Riot Gaming and retcon real history and say King has always been garbage because that's funny.
Are you gonna do like the pan over, like showing who won seasons, and then just skip all of the
And
CLG?
I'm on all 6 rosters. All right, but we got Purple back in this game, so I don't think we're gonna be playing for a lot longer. That's gonna be heartbreaking if you're 2K2S. Like, to sit through that pause and be like, all right, guys, here's like, they have to have this next play so prepared, and if it doesn't work, it's over. The game's over, and then it's like, well, we waited out. It's that long of applause for nothing.
Look at how good the red team or purple team's wards are in that upper jungle. Like, they actually just don't have darkness.
God, the way 30 wards.
Turns you on a little bit inside.
Turns me on a lot of bit, dude. Alright, so we see a nice counter push coming out of 2K2S. Gonna take a free tower. They at least get some global gold. But they've got to play so scared here because those super creeps are going to go onto a single Nexus turret. Like, they're going to threaten the game so fast. We've got 30 seconds on this dragon. Should be an easy objective for TDO. The move speed, just a decent buff, but more about just getting this dragon and then being ready to move on towards those open inhibs. 2K2S.
But we also have Baron spawning here in a minute.
Yeah, the playbook is wide open for TDO. I would go in, I would take this dragon, go take the 2 inhibitors, because I believe bot's close to respawning, and then go dance at Baron. And, like, there's no way they can lose. But 30's a little bit more aggressive than I am, so they might just go straight to Baron, or they might just go straight to the inhibit and win. Their playbook is fairly wide open for a team with the lead. So fortunately, 2K2S, that didn't hit respawn, so they at least have time to think about what they're going to do here. And moment of truth, Boom Trooper is very far away, but on his way. On the Hunt has not been popped. And Zwerbs jumps in, forces a flash out of 50 Senpai, nearly kills Mr. Dumbledore, but Zwerbs gets a gift. Solar Flare doesn't go a whole lot, and Scott's not on the chase, but he does not get a kill. Both of these TDO carries are very low though. And now here comes the turn. The On the Hunt is popped. Epic Yandere shredded apart. Gets no kills. 2 for 0 in favor of TDO. Now Frisky being blown up. He's going to get healed to walk out of this, but that is going to be both inhibitors. Or potentially just a win. There is not much help on this single Nexus turret. 50 Senpai is walking in, but he gets stunned. He gets knocked out. 50 is down. And that is it, folks. TDO claims the tie for first place after a very dominant game.
That was such a close team fight with all of their carries getting so low.
I am very excited for next week for TDO.
Yeah, I am as well. Always fun to
The
play a
TDO
pressure
Waifu
game.
Superstars game is going to be the most hype.
Alright, so looking at guys we can maybe talk to. Gonna see if we can get Thermidor in here solely because he is never available for interviews and he seems to still be online. And then I would also like to talk to Zwerbs.
Yeah, I was gonna say, let's
I
talk to
would fully
Zwerps to see
agree.
what was going through his head after that level 3. And then it just completely bring it back.
Alright, so we are going to see if we can get those two maybe dragged and dropped into our room. I don't think...
User was moved to your
Zwerps
channel.
and who?
There we go. Zwerps and
Therm?
Thermidor.
User was moved
Thanks,
to your
Admin.
channel. User left
All
your
right,
channel.
Thermidors, Werbs, welcome to the interview lounge.
What's up?
Great to finally be here after all the shit talking.
So, Zwerb, I want to start with you, because obviously, as you are hinting at, we have maybe been critical of your play at some points more than others.
Oh no, absolutely.
And this game, I thought was going to live up to just about everything we normally say. Thrifty Senpai gets a kill on you as level 2, or like right after you guys at level 3. He's up level 5 to level 3, like double your CS at 4.5 minutes, and then his lead just never grew. Like,
yeah, I think that changed when I got the solo kill on him when he stayed and had low mana. And then from then on, we had good team fights.
So was that the kind of play that stalled the bleeding? Was just him sticking around greedy with low mana?
I don't know. I just know that I saw a pick and followed through.
Well, that is good Ari instincts.
I watched Faker play Ari, and I'm like, maybe I should play like that. It's helped. It's helped.
Well, folks, I'm gonna let you all in on something. If you ever see Faker do something, assume it's right. He's playing mid lane Master DE like shit. You know something I don't. Like, all right. So, so Thermidor, you play Jax. What the fuck, man? Is that something we're gonna see more of?
It did not feel very good tonight, but it's all right. It got tanky at the end and pretty strong. It just took me a while to get there.
All right,
Thermidor,
I'm gonna go real fast here. I need to break one of my rules. I'm going to ask you about last week's game, which I don't like to do. But how often do you get to have games where you get that gigantic as you were on Shyvana last week? I mean, I'm happy if I have like one of those games every 6 months. Like, you were just so fucking huge, man.
Just called farming. Shyvana just farms like crazy. No one stopped it, and we had such strong lanes that we couldn't even do anything about it. That was all teammates right there. That wasn't me. It was just me being able to farm because they couldn't do anything to us.
yeah, I really feel that that your team does not have a very weak point in it. Do you also feel the same thing?
Yeah, I mean, that's the only reason, honestly, that I get big in some of these games is because the laning phase is so strong. I don't have to even gank. I don't gank. I can farm. Try to stop us.
I get ganked on quite a bit, and that kind of, I really shouldn't fail to those. But, you know, when they're wasting Gragasalt and Malzahar on the Ziggs, they aren't going to shut me down, and their bot lane's losing really hard. I'm just going to still be there stalling waves.
So is that kind of overall your guys' strategy is just like stem the bleeding early game, get to a point where you can all just kind of group and follow 30's calls and win the game?
Yeah, and between the Nami ult and then the Sivir ult, the gauges are really easy, and we had Mundo and Vana just chasing on top of them. Me spamming bombs, not knowing what I'm doing.
Do you think that there's another team in the league that you could compare TDO's like exact lane matchups and like strengths and weaknesses to?
Yeah, they're like a worse waifu superstar, but I'd come off as really cocky.
Exactly.
I said that on stream.
Oh
But
my
that does
goodness.
segue into I have
Shots
two questions I
fired.
want to ask. So next week you play against aforementioned waifu superstar, and the winner of that game will have sole possession of first place, as we are currently tied with you guys. You guys have won out the 3 games you played to this 30 switchback to support. I know you could ask this question every week, but you guys aren't 30, so I feel like you might have a slightly different answer here. But do you believe that you guys are going to get first place in this regular season?
Oh, yeah. Without a doubt.
I like it.
Stop
I like
asking
it.
stupid
I
questions.
like it.
I mean, of course I'm gonna say yes. I think there's still good teams. Like we weren't winning that game the whole time. I mean, maybe I don't know what was our gold lead.
No, it
Were we
was
down?
even for a very long time.
Yeah. I'm
The laning phase was
optimistic.
rough.
I'm not cocky about it, but optimistic.
Do you think what other team in the league do you think is your kryptonite? Like, I actually feel like on Waifu Superstars, our kryptonite is Boost. But
Oh,
do you
man.
feel that there is another team in the league that could catch you guys or could beat you?
I don't think there's another team that could do it, but as far as respecting other players go, I've been really surprised by how effective Kraken's been. His Gragas is very scary.
Damn,
Alright, so
somebody
let me-
call him.
Yeah, I'm messaging him right now. This is the best birthday gift he could ever get.
Well, unless it means that he's never going to play Gragas the rest of the season, because let's see, the two
It's
games that
bad.
you guys lost, he wasn't on Gragas, right?
Little least in one, I don't remember if he played Sedge in the other one or not.
Oh, you're right. Sorry. Yeah, I think he did. It was against us both times.
All right, gonna close this out. I got kind of a maybe more difficult to answer question, but just in this league as a whole, especially in your guys' games, I'm assuming you watch the VODs, you probably heard a lot of this. Some shot callers tend to get a lot of credit for how things go on their teams. I'm just curious, how important is 30 the leader to TDO success?
Very?
Yeah, that's very. I mean, you can just see it in the gameplay difference when he was AD to now being support.
A lot more focused on the objectives, where we should be going, what should we be doing, where we should be just knowing is there an objective, and if there's not an objective, back off, because there's no reason to fight. And if we do want to fight, we're going to set up where we want it and just know what kind of fight we want and then do that. And a lot of it is we strategize very heavily on our team comps.
All right, well, so do we. So I'm very excited for this rematch with your real lineup next week. I don't know if either the other two of you had any questions you wanted to get to real quick. Otherwise, I think we are going to close this week out. So, congrats again on your win, guys, and insert joke about 30's ADC here, and cut the stream.